Alright, before we get started with this review, I'm just going to lay this out. The only reason I watched this show is because it kept popping up fucking everywhere. Yo, what is up, Crockxen clan members, anime fans, and others who will stump on this video? I am SoresanCrockxen, and like I said in the little beginning, this was a show I did not look out for, right? I didn't go out of my way to search it. I didn't do research, right? Like I normally tend to do with shows. Okay, I didn't read anything up on it. And I did nothing. But every time I would either go on Funimation or I would go on Crunchyroll, this damn show was, for some reason, just kept popping up in every single corner, telling me, oh, the DVDs, or oh, this and all that. I just wanted to watch it, so I could just finally just finish it. So here we are, free Iwatobi Swim Club. I finished this whole season in one day. Not even one day. About a couple hours. I marathoned the whole thing. I still have season 2, and I will watch that when the time comes. Because this wasn't even part of my scheduled group, right? This was just I did it. Okay, I clicked on the episode and I just watched all of them. Okay, 12 episodes just gone in the span of one day. Okay, I have a list that I watch. It's a rotation, and this I just watched an entire show just for the fuck of it. Okay, come at me, okay. Alright, so here we go with the story. Now before I start, I want to iterate something. This is a sports anime. A sports series, I should say. I'm not a huge fan of those. I have tried in the past. Like, I read the manga for Slam Dunk. Not the whole thing, but I used to read the manga, and I didn't really like it. And then I also tried Prince of Tennis, and I didn't like it. And I'm pretty sure there's another show I'm forgetting that I tried that I'm not a fan of these sports shows. They just piss me off, right? So like I said, this was just I just did it on a whim, okay? Because it kept showing up everywhere, and it was pissing me off that I didn't know what it was, and just kept popping up. So I watched it. It is a sports anime, and it involves swimming. Now I used to be part of a swimming club back like when I was like little kid, like just way the fuck back then, right? So this was a really long time ago. But I do live in an island, so swimming is kind of like a thing that just happens normally. You know, there's a beach like 10 minutes away from my house, so 10 minutes, yeah, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. There's a beach. I can go over there and swim. There's pools everywhere. Like it's standard island, lifestyle, right? But anyway, so in this show, the whole story involves our main characters, right? And how they used to be. Well, 3 of them used to be part of a club back in like when they were kids, right? Back in elementary school, and now they're in high school, about to graduate. Well, I mean, I assume they're about to graduate because, like, the main character's like, oh, 20 years is when you're considered normal and you can just do whatever in your life. And then he's talking about how he has 3 years left. So he's like 17. So I'm gonna assume they're like in either their second to last or their last year of high school. And so one of them shows up, and then they decide to make a club in the high school for swimming because it doesn't exist. And then we meet up another character that is tied to their past, and they do swimming competitions and swimming practices, and we have a lot of drama and tension. That's honestly the reason why I really like this show right now. I love drama shows. Drama-centered animes are probably some of my favorites. Like if I were to rank my genres right now, it would be like drama, romance, slice of life, and then like action. Don't get me wrong, I love my action shows, and I like Fairy Tail's a thing, Naruto's a thing. Like I love my actions, but like for some reason I really like dramatic shows, and then like romance. But this one wasn't like romance, but it was a slice of life, right? It's a drama slice of life, so that's like part of 2 of my top 3 genres are already involved in this, and it really the drama fits so well with the slice of because it's like you felt like while the story was progressing, right? while you had different like situations and then like the character development that they showcased, it was realistic. Like it was stuff that you could say that could happen in real life. Like it was insane. It was insane how well they were able to make this drama seem so down to earth. A thing that could happen to you tomorrow, right? Well, I mean, obviously not like straight up because you're not a drama club and you don't swim, or, you know, stuff like that. Like if you're not in a swim club or you haven't participated in like swimming competition, like that's not gonna affect you. But I'm saying like it could happen in real life. So animation and music. I can't, like, first off, let me just say this. I can't really think of a soundtrack off the top of my head. I really can't. It's really, really hard to do. But the animation was good. Like, it looked great. Like, you know how sometimes shows or animes tend to go over the top? Well, that's the thing I like about slice of life shows is that they tend to, like, I think that they look better most of the time because they don't have to go overly, you know, over the top, exaggerated with certain aspects. So the characters look really realistic, and I loved all the characters. Like the way they all looked was amazing. I love the fact that most of them, like, you could differentiate everybody. Like they all looked different, and they all looked just amazing. And then like the water effect, that's something I rarely see. I rarely see this whole thing with water. I mean even Nagi no Asakara. I love that show. The water is beautiful. But they never really did this thing where, you know, you could see like the drops on them, like just falling down, like they dive in the water and they come out, like you can see their hair is wet, like you can tell it's wet, right? So I feel like that attention to detail is something that I haven't really seen too much, because even though Nagi no Asakara is based in the water, because of the whole thing of how they live in water and like their scales absorb the moisture, you never really saw them wet, right? They would come out of the ocean and they'd be completely dry. But in this case, they actually, like, you could be like, oh my gosh, they were actually in a pool. You could tell they are wet, right? They were just in water, and I love that. I love that attention to detail. All the characters, I love the eyes. Okay, the eyes were amazing. Oh my gosh, I wish I had eyes like that, man. Like you had one, like this dude had red eyes. You had purple, you had blue, you had green, you had yellow. Like, oh my goodness, it was amazing. It looked great. The opening, it wasn't bad. I mean, I thought it was passable. Not one of my favorite openings ever, but it was pretty decent. I didn't really care too much about the ending, and like I said, I can't really, even though I just watched the entire series, I can't actually picture an OST track. Like I guess they weren't as big as they, like, because to me, most of the time, what makes really, really good shows is the fact that you can blend the music in really well and it actually fits. But in this case, I guess the music was just overshadowed. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It might be good, and I just never realized it. But it just felt like it was overshadowed. Alright, character section. I'm mainly going to be talking about the 5 main characters of the show. There are other characters that are involved in the series, and they kind of have their purposes and their goals. Well, not really goals, but they have a reason to be there. But I'm mainly going to talk about the main 5. So you have like the 4 members of the club, and then like the other guy that is part of the history. So we have Haru, we have Makoto, we have Nagisa, Rei, and Rin. Right? Those are the 5 mystery characters. No, I'm just kidding. Not mystery characters, but they're the 5 characters. So Haru right here, boom, there we go, buddy right there. He's the main, I guess the main character. We want to call him that. I mean, I guess they kind of all have their purpose, so it feels like all of them are the main character. But we'll focus on, we'll call him the main protagonist. So this man over here, he likes water. He just likes water. He likes being in water. He likes to just relax. Like he has this thing where it's like he can communicate with water. Obviously, because this isn't like an actual fantasy show. It's more like he's comfortable in water, and he feels like when he's in water, he's relaxed and he feels one with the water, which is, you know, it's kind of cool. My biggest problem with him as a character is he has the same stoic face the whole time. It's kind of like, and then you get the occasional like shock, and then like, how could you, like, he has the same facial expression throughout the entire series. Like, there is like near the end, we finally see him smile for like the first time. Like, even when they did like flashbacks or callbacks to stuff that happened in the past, in pictures, he had the same face the whole time. Like, what, I don't know why they decided to do that. Like, he just seemed like emotionless for a majority of the time. Like, when something dramatic happened, like, you would see a facial expression change. But for the most part, he had the same look all the time. And honestly, I didn't get his character for like a specific, like a certain amount of time. Because, like, he was the most mysterious. Like, there was stuff that happened throughout the series where they would showcase something about a character that you would feel like it's important to know about. And then they would explain it, like, either that episode or the episode afterwards. So we'd get, like, you know, progress, right? But with him, we didn't really get to see much until, like, later on in the series. We finally got to hear, like, his side of the story and, like, certain aspects. We didn't really learn too much about him except for the fact that he loves water. And that's cool and all, but it's like, he just, I don't know. To me, he was technically the weakest of them all. Not to say, like, that's a bad thing, because it's only, like, I don't know. I didn't hate him. Let me just say that right. I didn't hate him, but, like, there were certain things about him that I didn't really like, and, like, his reasoning for doing certain things just made no sense. Like, I'll explain when I talk about Rin, but, like, Haru just... Anyways. So Makoto, the character I related to the most, I don't know, maybe it's me. I'm a person that likes to think of others before himself. That's him. He is the character that always kind of looks, you know, for others, looks out for others more than himself. I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword in the real world, because people are assholes and they tend to take advantage of people like that, right? So, but for some reason, I'm still like that. I still like to be that type of person where I like to just think of others ahead of myself. And that's what he has. Like that's his character. We do get to see some backstory, because he has a fear of the ocean. And I was confused about that, right? Like when like I said, that's the one thing I really liked about the show, is like when they show off a problem, you would get a reasoning for it. Like, it wasn't like the problem was solved, but you would get a reasoning for it. So for his fear of the ocean, they actually explain it in the episode afterwards, about how when they were younger, he used to go to a festival all the time, and he would go to this harbor all the time with this old man, and he really liked this old man, and this old man was always playing with him and having fun, and he acted like his grandfather and stuff like that. And then he was a fisherman. And then one day there was a storm, and he died. The boat just sank, and just people died. And he's been scared of the ocean ever since. But even so, the episode that they explained this whole reasoning behind it, there was a storm, and Ray was actually in danger. He was going to drown. And, even though he failed, he still went out of his way to save him. And he actually made them, like, he took the club on a trip to practice in the ocean. So it's like he basically not forgo, but like he let go of his fear of the ocean. Like, he was still scared as fuck, but for the others, he went beyond his limits to make sure that they were able to practice. So I don't know, I kind of liked him because of that. He just seemed, I don't know, just to me, he felt like the closest out of all the characters. And then I'm going to talk about Nagisa, who, he's the, how do I explain this? He's not really hyper, but he's like the very happy guy, right? He's all like, nothing, like, things bother him, but he's always looking at the bright side of things. Which is, I think a lot of people should have that. I'm not that type of person. I usually like to be like realistic in certain situations. I know people see that as pessimism, but I feel like it's more like realism than anything else. I understand optimism, I do, but I'm very realistic. But he wasn't just, you know, his way of thinking wasn't that he was just optimistic about everything. It's just that he always had a smile. His purpose was to be the joy of the team. And honestly, I kind of dug that. He didn't really have too many problems, though. Like, his character growth mainly stemmed from, you know, eventually admitting that he does get scared. Like, he does get nervous. But because he is who he is, and because he's always with everybody else, he always has a reason to smile. And I kind of like that. I really did. I kind of wish he had some kind of backstory or traumatic event or something to like help kind of correlate with everybody else. But like, I don't have a problem with that. I didn't. I thought he was great. In fact, he was one of my favorite. I mean, I kind of liked everybody. Haru was kind of, I mean, I didn't hate him, like I said, but he was kind of meh. But like, Nagisa's not bad at all. Like, I actually really liked him. And then Rei, who Rei's I have a thing with Rei. He's the type of guy when we first started off, and I kind of feel like he got the most character development out of everybody in the entire group. Because when we first meet him, right? When we first meet him, he's not part of the club, right? We have the three main we have the first three. So we have, you know, Haru, Nagisa, and Makoto. Like, they were set from the get-go. But Rei, he was part of the track team. Like, or his whole plan was he was going to be part of the track team. But the way he did his stuff is that he was very, like, mental, right? He always had these calculations, like, oh, well, I gotta use this amount of force and this amount of velocity and this type of acceleration to deal with this type of gravity. Like, it was always math, right? It was always math. And I understand. Like, I love math, right, as much as everybody else. I don't use that when I'm in a sport, though. I don't, you know, if I'm gonna do something, I don't analyze it. Like, I don't. But that was his thing, right? That was his thing. But that kind of hindered him, right? And it hindered him when it came to, you know, doing, you know, the track. And then Nagisa was always like constantly on his ass about joining the swim club, and he didn't want to do it. And then, like, he saw swimming as a very, he didn't see it as a beautiful sport, right? Because he's all about beauty, right? And, you know, like, he's not like, you know, all, you know, I'm pretty and beautiful and stuff like that. But he tends to want to see things as a beautiful act instead of what it really is. So he likes to find the beauty and stuff. Again, a good quality to have. But here's the thing. Because of his mentality, he couldn't see past certain things. And so that's what hindered him a lot. So that's why he did all these calculations to try to make it as beautiful as possible. So his form was perfect, but he couldn't really achieve his goal because of his constant need to do this thing. And then so when he finally like participated in the swim club just to see, because Haru is beautiful when he participates. Like, They do this thing where he, like, compare him to a dolphin. And I gotta admit, like, he swims, and it's amazing. Like, I was blown away the first time they actually showed him swimming. So he decided to you know, to watch it, right? And then he ended up joining the club so that he would be able to, you know, kind of free himself. And then, like, we find out that one of the main reasons why he didn't want to join the swimming club is that he couldn't swim. So we had to go from him not being able to swim to finding out, to him practicing and then not being able to swim ever. Like, he just couldn't find his rhythm, his groove, until we went from practicing different types of strokes and different techniques to finding out what his actual strength was, which is the butterfly stroke, which is the, you know, the big arcing one, like, yeah, right? And it went from that to still him, you know, analyzing too much and not being able to achieve a goal, right? So his progress, everything, was constant character development of him improving over time. And I loved what they did with him because he essentially replaced Rin. Now, I'm going to talk about Rin in a second. He replaced Rin in the team because it was there, like, those four, like Haru, Nagisa, Makoto, and Rin. They were a team before. So Rei is the new replacement. And so when they also had this thing where, because Rin showed up again, and we had this thing. Like I said, I'm gonna go into detail about Rin in a second, but he started feeling like he wasn't a part of the team, right? So he had this, again, more character growth of him trying to find himself as a part of this team, and him confronting, the group about why they're so obsessed with Rin, and even confronting Rin of why he's doing certain things because he wants to be a part of this team. And I feel like, to me, like, even though I connected with Makoto as a character, my favorite was Rei, just because he was the character that literally, since he was shown to the end, grew so much. And I liked him. I liked his character growth. He was, oh my gosh. I'm going to talk about that more like in the final episode segment, because that was the thing that pissed me off about the ending. But he was amazing. I loved him he was just great. And then we have Rin, douchebag over here. Honestly, I hated this guy. He was technically speaking the antagonist of the series, but because of his connection to the main cast, he kind of ended up being a protagonist. But literally the entire series, and I mean the entire series, he was a dick to everybody. Doesn't matter who you were. He was a dick. His sister, he ignored her. Like, he did show signs of being nice and caring and bullshit like that, but for the most part, he was an asshole. And he had this grudge that made no absolute sense. He was a salty loser and a salty winner. That's like the worst type of salty person you can be. Like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil, because that's part of the final episode section. There was a thing at the end, right, with him that kind of helped redeem the character, but his whole purpose for being an asshole is the fact that, well, he was part of the group, right, and they won a relay when they were kids, but then he moved to Australia to become a competitive swimmer, right? He went to a competitive swimming school, right? But then apparently he sucked so bad, and he came back and he lost to Haru in a friendly race, which made him become salty and then quit swimming, and it was just bullshit. And then he came back when Haru, when they created the club, he joined his new school's club because he came back, right? He joined that club so he can beat Haru, and then he was a salty winner, but then he was still upset because of bullshit. I hated him. Honestly, like, I get what they were going with. I get what they were going with. I really do. But I didn't like him. You're not supposed to like him in the beginning, right? You're not supposed to. But you're supposed to at least kind of understand him near the end. I did. I mean, I understood it, but it didn't make me like him. It actually made me hate him more. And it's really bad when you have that kind of character that you're supposed to like in the end. But I'm gonna drop it there because I gotta get to the final episode section, and then that's where I can do all the spoiler stuff. Alright, so the setup for the finale. We go to a tournament, right? And this is to qualify for regionals. And everybody loses. Haru loses to Rin. And that's why I said he was a salty winner, because he finally beat him. Makoto loses because he messed up a little bit. Nagisa loses because he didn't do too well in the beginning of the race. And then Rei lost because it was his first time, and honestly, he didn't feel very comfortable. Now, those were individual events. They actually, against their knowledge, were signed up for the relay race. And that's the one where you have 4 members and then one swims in one format, and then they come back, and then the next person jumps in, they swim in a different format, and then they come back, and it's that type of thing. There's different strokes, right? So they were put in the relay race, and they ended up winning that, which meant they were able to go to the regionals as a relay team. Now Rin, dick, right? He was actually surprised to hear that they were actually joining the relay race, right? He didn't expect them to, because from what he heard, they were all going into individual events, and he only participated in the race that he was in because Haru was going to be in that one, which was the 100-meter free, the free one, which is the one where you go It's the standard one, right? And then he got upset. He got mad because they're in the relay and he's not gonna be able to race there, right? And then he gets even more upset because Ray, like I said, he is technically the replacement, right? Back in the day, Rin was with the group, right? And there was those four. And then we have this new guy over here who's invading, right? And he's mad at that, right? So it's like, bruh, get over it, right? And then we have like suspense and drama and shit happening because he's an asshole, right? He is a dick. His ego battle that he has with everybody else just pissed me off, by the way. And then we have the confrontation. Now this is why I really wanted to save this for the final episode section. Ray confronts Rin because Rin was supposed to only do the 100-meter dash, or not meter dash, but the 100-meter free stroke race, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That was his thing. But after they won the relay, he joined the relay team of his school, right? Even though he already won, he already beat Haru, right? What purpose does this man have to join the relay? He already did his thing, and then we got like we got the background of what happened. You know, the fact that they were, you know, because Ray's out of the loop, he doesn't know anything. So the group explains that back when they were kids, they all went to the same, you know, swimming club, and they entered the relay, and they won, and yada yada yada. And then they explained that later on he left to Australia, right? But he came back one summer, and then he ended up meeting up with Haru. They had a race, right? They had a race, and then Haru beat him, which caused him to quit. And then, I mean, there was more stuff, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Caused him to quit, which made Haru quit, right? Made Haru quit the swimming team he was in middle school. But then they both joined the high school one, right? And then Haru lost. So what the fuck is Rin doing, right? What is his goal, right? What is his purpose? So Ray was upset. He was pissed because these guys are talking about Rin this, Rin that, Rin everywhere. Like, it's all about Rin. And Ray feels out of the loop, right? So he confronts Rin, tells him, why are you joining the relay? Because you already beat Haru. What is your goal? What is your purpose? How do you feel about Haru, right? So he starts questioning this man. And then, like, they kind of, like I said, technically there's no fighting in this show. That was as close to a fight as we got, right? Like, they were, like, grabbing each other by their jackets and stuff like that. And then, like, Rin is like, well, why are you here? What do you care? You're not even a part of this. It's like, because I'm the victim, right? I just want to swim with these people. I want to be the best team with this group. I want to have fun with this team, right? And you're ruining everything because it's all about you, right? Haru quit swimming because of you. All this shit that's happening is because of you, right? So he went in, and then Rin's like, whatever. And then he left, and then Ray left and stuff like that. And then we finally get to the regionals. And then Ray is kind of, he finally got his mojo back because everybody was worried about him because he didn't show up to practice. And they're like, we're a team, right? You're a part of this team. Nobody can replace you. All that stuff. It was a sweet moment. They get to the regionals. And then at night, Ray gets a text from Rin to meet him. And then he answers the question. You know, he explains what happened about how when he was in Australia, he kept losing. He was doing bad, right? And then he came back to high school to Japan, and then he lost to Haru, and he was already frustrated, right? His goal is to be an Olympic swimmer. He was sucking it up in Australia, comes back, loses to Haru, right? He's done. He's done. And then, like, so all this tension and buildup and whatnot is supposed to make us feel sorry for him. I know. And then they pull something. It kind of upset me because they're in the regionals, and then Rin got kicked out of the relay because he wasn't doing so high, right? He wasn't doing so well in practice, right? Because he was so distracted, and he ended up pretty much sucking it up in the 100 meters. He was awful. He did terrible. He sucked ass, right? And he was kicked out. He had been kicked out of the relay, So now there was no way he was gonna be able to race with, you know, Haru and the gang, right? He was out of the relay, and he's upset, and he basically starts yelling at the only person who basically gave a damn about him. Like there's one guy that the entire his entire season, when they showcased Rin and they went to high school, this kid was always behind him, pretty much kissing his ass the entire time, and it was being a dick to him. Like, kicked the freaking trash can and everything. And then he said he quit. He quit swimming because he's useless and worthless and shit like that. Again, supposed to make us feel bad for him. And yada yada yada. And then we have this meetup again between Haru and Rin. And then like they're talking about how they're never gonna be able to swim together again. And then Haru's like, yes, you can do it, and blah blah. I'm like, okay, so they're gonna invite him to the club, whatever, yada. If he's gonna join the school next semester or whatever, some bullshit like that. I wasn't gonna have a problem with that. If he joined the school, maybe I would actually like him later. But no! You know what they do? They replace Ray in the relay with Rin. Because, oh, he just wanted to swim with them. So Ray, this man, right, my favorite character of this entire show, gets shafted to give Rin some closure. Right? This man who has been grinding his ass off since the get-go has had the most character development this entire show, and he's just kicked off. Like, he's not off the team, but he was replaced, even though not like in 2 episodes prior to this, you were like, oh, there's no replacement to you. But no, we're gonna get Rin in here, right? And we're gonna win. We're not gonna do it with Rin. We're gonna win with him. Obviously, they got disqualified because Rin wasn't part of the team, right? He was from another school. But, like, it didn't change the fact that Ray didn't even participate. He didn't even participate. That upset me. It upset me. And then they ended with them, oh, you know, how they're going to come back next year because Ray has to prove himself now because he wasn't able to participate because they basically just took him off so Rin can participate. Rin isn't even joining their school. He's staying with the other people. What the fuck? Like, the captain of the other school who had kicked him off the relay and was kind of upset with him was like, you better race like that next time. Okay, you're still part of the team, but you better be swimming as fast as you did in that relay. Right? So it's like, what was the point? It's not like he's going to be a part of the team. So it's like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But it really upset me. So, we're here. Judgment time for free. Iwatobi Swimming Club. I gotta say, it's not a bad show. I really, really liked it. I did. Even though the ending pissed me off. Actually, it really pissed me off. It really did. Because, like, I dedicated all that time to this damn one character. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so, I honestly do recommend it. I gotta say, like, maybe feel it out, check it out, or watch it. Watch it is the one. Give it to the halfway point. If you're interested in the characters by then, you should probably finish it. I think that by the time you get to the halfway point, that's when you can kind of, know for a fact whether you actually are interested in these characters. Because that's all you're going to get, right? All the drama is because of the character. You're not going to get some crazy action fights. Right? There's no romance anywhere. There's nothing, like, ordinarily extravagant and just magical or whatever. It's just characters. You're dealing with just characters here. So if you don't care about the characters by the halfway point, then I honestly don't recommend you finish it. But because it's like, what's the point? Because you're just gonna get more character, But if you actually do like the characters by then, I definitely recommend you finish it. But so that's gonna be it. That's my rating. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.